What a gift you give to us every Sunday. Thank you. Now, the title of my message this morning is, What is Love? Passion or Promise? Passion or promise? Most of you know that Tuesday, of course, is Valentine's Day. If you've been in Walmart or a store, you realize that for the last several weeks. It's, you go from Christmas to New Year's, and then you go right into Valentine's Day. Next will be St. Patrick's Day. So it never ends. The store continually changes over and over again, but I always think of Valentine's Day as love is in the air, and many couples have found themselves saying, I do, during this time of year. Matter of fact, Valentine's season, these weeks surrounding it, is the third most sought after date for folks to get married. Weddings are filled with excitement and love and a few myths. Just like a few years ago, I ran across this article here. It said, many, in times gone by, left their reception showered in rice. But the interesting fact is, by the mid-1990s, it was a common belief that uncooked rice would kill these unsuspecting birds. And of course, we had to shut it down. And so reports came of this rice that they would eat would swell in their bellies and explode these poor, precious little birds. So a tradition of rice was abandoned, and alternate things were done, like bird seed and confetti and even bubbles. Well, ironically, there's really no truth in that story of rice swelling in these poor little precious creatures' bellies and exploding them. Matter of fact, there are several professors at Cornell University and a team of ornithologists, which are bird people, experts, stated that there is no documented cases of birds dying as a result of eating uncooked rice. She says, in fact, that house sparrows, red-winged blackbirds, crows, cardinals eat it all the time in the wild in countries that produce a lot of rice. So I must say to you that weddings and marriages and all these stuff is surrounded by an attitude of this. If a whole country can be duped about rice, how many people are being confronted with some of the ideas that when they get married, they live happily ever after? No arguing, no fighting, no disagreeing. What are you laughing for? Somebody acts like you've been married before. Let's face it. Here's the myth. If you're madly in love, you've got that great passion. But if you're madly in love and you're going to have the perfect marriage, myth or reality? Yeah. Of course, those of you that have been married or haven't been married, you can vouch for this perfect bliss, can't we? Yeah. I already know that many of you are thinking only in my dreams, but here's the story of a young woman named Alicia. And she had the perfect fiance. And as she was getting to know, his name was Michael and his family, she was very impressed how much his parents expressed and showed their love for each other. She would remark several times how thoughtful she's told Michael that his parents were. He says, why, your dad, I found out, even brings your mom a cup of hot coffee in bed every morning. She said, man, that is love. After a time, Alicia and Michael were engaged and then married. And on the way from the wedding place to the reception, Alicia again remarked on Michael's loving parents. She said, tell me, because I've been thinking about this all day long for the last several weeks, as a matter of fact, about how loving that your dad is to your mom, bringing her coffee every morning. She said, I just have a question, Michael. Does this run in the family? Michael says, absolutely it does. Unquestionably it runs in my family. She said, oh, that's so wonderful. He said, but I just want to let you know I take after my mother. So there are a lot of myths, a lot of perceptions, when the honeymoon is over and weeks give way to months, which give way to year, the love that once burned with passion can sometimes get to be a little flickering flame. So the question is this morning is, what happens? You know, one might think, where has the love gone? And here's the answer. Because so many have the myth that marriage, a perfect relationship, is based upon the amount of passion that you have. A woman woke up and told her husband, you know, I keep having this dream, sweetheart, that you gave me a beautiful pearl necklace for Valentine's Day. I keep dreaming this over and over again. What do you think it means? Husband looked with a twinkle in his eye and said, You'll know tonight, honey. He said, you'll know tonight. That evening, the man came home with a small package and had it in his hand. His wife kind of had that look of glee and anticipation, you know. Her thoughts were running rampant how many outfits that she could wear this perfect necklace around her neck and how beautiful it would be. And so anyway, with excitement, you know, she could hardly wait. You know, he says, listen, honey, this is the answer to your dream. She said, yes, I know, give it to me. She tore the package up and opened up, only to find out it was a book entitled The Meaning of Dreams. Guys, I share these things with you so you won't repeat history, okay? Don't do that. Unfortunately, in our nation today, you know, there, on average, a divorce is granted every 26 seconds. Almost half. Matter of fact, in many places, over half end up that marriage, that flame, that passion somehow ends. And the reason for that oftentimes, well, first I blame a lot of the laws, because most of the people get divorces today, it's just that we don't love each other, so okay, you don't have to live together, you can just go your own separate ways. But my question is what happens? And here's my point. As a society, we have come to believe wholeheartedly that when the romantic, you know, that passion, gushy feeling, that overwhelming thing we feel when that isn't as strong as it was the day that we met, then the marriage is over. You know, we come home and the wife's not jumping up and down and excited and, you know, because you just walked in the door, the guy says, well, she doesn't love me anymore. Or ladies, when that guy doesn't come and he doesn't, you know, carry you across the threshold every day, or, you know, do all of it, all of a sudden we think, well, he doesn't love me anymore, so it's over. But let me give you a story that is found in Hosea chapter 3 that I want to relate to you, because I want to say there's got to be balance there. You see, in this story, I believe God has given us a beautiful Valentine card from God to us today. And when we pick up this story in chapter 3 of Hosea, Gomer, Hosea's wife, has hit rock bottom. She has bigger problems in her life than just a funny name for a woman, Gomer, but that's another story. But here we see in this Bible passage, and remember, I believe that God puts important things in His Word to teach us something about Him and something about ourselves. And so she has this problem here. She has been transported from the sinful world of adultery into a living hell of prostitution. She has been swapped around the open market as a piece of common stock. And Hosea has every legal and moral right to divorce her, and under God's law, he has a right to have her killed. Now, I guarantee you that would probably alleviate a lot of these flippant divorces nowadays, wouldn't it? Because if you can prove your point that your mate has been wronged you in a very serious way, you can have him taken out in stone. I wonder how many divorces we'd have after that. Notice there's silence, so we'll just move right on. So here's the beauty of the love story that makes a point. I believe that love isn't always about the emotion of passion. Now, I'm not excusing, Because remember, passion, love, it is like a flower. If you don't ever water it, ladies and gentlemen, if you never try to water that love and passion that you once had, then it will die. And you will just be two people living in the same house if you let it die. So that's not an excuse. But I'm saying to you, there does come a point in every relationship when you just don't feel gushy in love anymore. That doesn't mean it's not going to come back. Doesn't mean it's not going to come back the next day. I'm just saying, don't throw your hands up and walk out on your relationship that you have because you just don't go anymore. You have to work on that. So let's look at God's instructions here to this prophet named Hosea, this man of God. Because we're going to find out that I believe Hosea's love for Gomer isn't just about the law. It's about something else. So let's look at verse 3. Hosea. And I said unto her, Thou shalt abide for me many days. Thou shalt not play the harlot. And thou shalt not be for another man. So will I also be for thee. I'm certain that Hosea didn't feel a lot of passion when he went to the brothel and bidded for his wife. Now remember, she had begun this journey in adultery. She was unfaithful to Hosea. And one thing led to another thing, till finally at last, her pimp sold her into bondage. And so she was in a brothel. And as you know, that all those things that are conducted there, men would come and she would go to someone willing to pay a price. So I want you to get that picture. And yet God, let's look at it, verse 1. Then the Lord said to me, Hosea speaking, Go and get your wife again and bring her back to you and love her, even though she loves adultery. For the Lord still loves Israel, though she has turned to other gods and offered them choice gifts. So God's going to bring a point here. He's using Gomer and Hosea, and Hosea's love for his wife to go into that brothel and to buy her back again. And what God's saying to us this morning is, listen, I love you even though you have turned your back on me, even though you've gone back into sin. And that's what we do, church. If we have once tasted of the blessings and the forgiveness of God, when a believer backslide, it's like going back to a brothel. We are now selling ourselves into slavery, into the devil who once possessed us, who once owned us. It was Jesus Christ, through his shed blood, that bought us out of bondage. God forbid that a believer ever turn their back upon God, who loves you so much that he gave you his only begotten Son, who died for you, that we would ever turn our back and go back to sin. It would be like a prostitute that has been redeemed and purchased and given a home to turn her back on that man or her husband and go back. And so God gives us this. He gives us this story not only to show us that love isn't all about passion, it is also about a promise that we make. And so as we look at that real quickly this morning. So, number one, love is a promise that endures. Let me read verse 1 again. Then the Lord said to me, Go get your wife again and bring her back to you and love her, even though she loves adultery. That word then is important here in this passage of Scripture, because it tells us that it takes place after they were married. And it reminds us of God's love for us, and he's showing this through Hosea. Now, Hosea confronted Gomer. She was going to have to make a choice. He was saying to her, simply that she was going to have to give up this lifestyle. She was going to have to make a decision not to go into adultery anymore. That she was going to have to give up her affairs and walk away. So it's important, and I believe that Hosea didn't make these steps in anger, nor as an act of reprisal. But I believe he did it because he loved her, and because he was confident that she was going to be able to understand the depth of his love and change. Hosea didn't try to hang on to Gomer by overlooking her affairs or by manipulating her guilt or making empty threats. He just simply was saying, if you want to stay, I want you to stay. But you're going to have to change. You're going to have to give up that lifestyle. You're going to have to give up these affairs. Hosea, after the manner of God, was showing to Gomer that a relationship was still possible. Not on terms of her unforgiveness, her unfaithfulness, but on terms of a promise that he made to her. Now, this is not always easy done. I understand that. But I think God demonstrated his love to us on Calvary, and he's saying that, listen, no matter how far you've gone, no matter what you've done, I still love you. And that my son would have still died for your forgiveness. But church, we have to give up our sinful ways. If we want to be redeemed, if we want to enjoy the blessings of God, if we want to enjoy being in the presence of God, then we have to do like Gomer. We have to forsake the ways of the world. We have to forsake our own lustful desires and turn to God and allow him to cleanse us. Secondly, love is a promise that procures. In other words, that word means to purchase. Hosea promised to his wife Gomer, that promise involved some sacrifices. Church, in any successful marriage, it means sacrifices. It means you might have to give up something. It means you might have to compromise a little bit. And there's a lot of things that could go into that area, but I'm just telling you, when you have two individual people come together, there's a lot of things that might be different. And I won't go into the details of any of that, because my wife's looking at me. So. You see, God's Word, I believe, is so important. And God doesn't waste words. And I believe everything that God has to say to us in his Word is important. And it's important for us to discover the goodness of God's Word. Now, it's interesting that God's Word has recorded the exact cost that Hosea paid to buy back his own wife. And I thought that was interesting. I believe there's a reason. You see, because, first of all, in the Old Testament, to purchase a slave, it cost you 30 shekels of silver. You remember Judas received 30 pieces of silver. Don't miss the important thing, though, that I'm trying to make here in God's Word. Hosea wasn't able to pay the whole price in silver. It also indicates here that by paying Gomer's redemption, you might want to say, from slavery, of prostitution, would involve a great personal sacrifice on his part. So visualize with me Hosea getting ready to redeem his wife. God's already spoken to him. God's told him to go to this brothel and buy back your wife, to redeem his wife from this bondage that she's in. And so I see Hosea going around the house and looking, first of all, to kind of find out how much silver he had, how much money he actually had. And he's digging into cushions and all those places where money might be. And he finds out that he's short. And again, I think this is important that God's revealing to us. He didn't come up with enough money. So he has to look at something else. He looks at the very thing that sustains life. And that was the food that he had in the house. So what I'm trying to say, to buy Gomer back was not without sacrifice. I believe he got all the money that he had. I believe that he cleaned the cupboards out. to have enough. And he went to this place knowing that he didn't have enough money, so he was hoping to bargain with all that he had left. And that was the food in the closet. And again, I say this to you. I don't know just how much passion was in Gomer's heart, but I do believe he understood the promise that he made to this woman, that he loved her and he was committed to her, and that he was going to personally sacrifice all that he had to get her back. Purchased her. We don't know, folks, let me tell you, in our hearts. I just want to say that God loves us. God loves us so very much, church. And if you're here this morning and maybe you're feeling a little unloved, or maybe you're feeling a little lonely, and maybe times like, when you're single, Christmas and Valentine's Day and things like that, you feel like, man, nobody knows that I'm here. Or maybe you're in a marriage right now where your mate doesn't pay a lot of attention to you. You feel neglected. You feel left out. But I want to tell you something. God loves you. God loves you. Romans chapter 8, verse 32 says, "He that spared not his own son, but delivered him up for us all, how shall he not with him also freely give us all things?" You see, He's given us all things. He's given us eternal life. God has given us His love, folks. And I don't know what greater thing that you could ever expect from someone that loves you so very much that to give up their very life for you. That's what Jesus did. Number 3, love is a promise that secures. It secures. Here Hosea renews his wedding vows, you might want to say. He says to Gomer this, and it's a beautiful thing. He says, "You're coming home, and you will live with me for many days. Everything you need, you will find in me. You won't have to go outside this relationship to find love, acceptance, or worth, or anything else. I will be for thee." That's what I think all of us, in a relationship, in a marriage relationship, I think that's a promise that we need to make. Life is not always full of sunshine and roses and tiptoeing through the tulips, right? Life is hard sometimes. Sometimes we go through a series of hardships. Sometimes we go through days and weeks where it seems like every day there's a battle before us. And the passion can grow dim sometimes. But that is what I believe God is trying to teach us here. That it's not all about the passion, but it is about the promise. I promise that person my love. I promised that person that I would provide all that they needed, all that they were going to find, and they didn't need anything else. And that I was going to be there for that person. I was going to be faithful and true for that person. Hosea's solution to Gomer's sinful past was to start anew, to secure and start their marriage. And he was telling her that her past didn't matter. Now remember, he told her prior to that, though, she was going to have to leave all of those things that had taken her to that place. But he was letting her know is that I'm not bringing this up again. Every time we get into an argument or fight, I'm not going to bring up all the things that you did again. And let me just say to you, that is probably one of the most destructive things that we can do in a relationship like marriage. Because I don't know any of us, me included, that are perfect. So that means I come into a relationship with error in my life. But even though marriage can be rocky, and things are going on. Listen, we don't dig those things up. You know, forgiveness, like I've said before, is burying the hatchet. Now, some people bury the hatchet, but they leave the handle sticking out. You know what I mean? I believe that Hosea was telling Gomer that I'm not going to leave the handle sticking out. Just like Jesus Christ says to us this morning, church, that when I forgive you, I will remove that sin far from you. As far as the east is to the west, never to be remembered again. He says, behold, all things have become new. I think Hosea was saying to Gomer, I love you, and all things are going to become new. You see, we're not told how the story ends. If you read through Hosea, it drives you crazy. Because I want to know all the details. I want to know, but unfortunately, God just kind of leaves the end of the story up to us. I believe that because Hosea stood by his promise of love, that he and Gomer eventually shared the passion of love once again. It didn't happen overnight. I believe it took Gomer a long time, probably, to learn that Hosea's pledge was genuine. Because some of you know what it is to be in a relationship where this person promises you 1,000 times that they're going to change. You know, every fight that you get into, I'm going to do different. I'm going to be different. I'm changing. I can change. If you'll just stay and let me abuse you, if you'll just stay and let me beat on you, if you'll just stay and let me cheat on you, I'm going to change. Well, I've had couples in my office, have you not, Brother Bob, that you hear that from one or the other. You know, I love her, or I love him, and I'm going to change. But 3 months, 4 months, they're out there doing it again. That's not the change I'm talking about, and that's not the promise I'm talking about. I'm talking about the promise that Hosea pledged to Gomer, that she could build her trust upon him in his faithfulness, in his love, and even though there may not have been a lot of flash and bang and passion going on, but it's going to come. Because we're going to work on this thing together, and we're going to do it, and time is going to heal our hearts, and trust is going to be real big. I believe in my mind, because I'm a romantic, I believe in time that we can see the ending of the story. Hosea and Gomer walking hand in hand, laughing, once again enjoying the company of each other. I believe the story of Gomer and Hosea was on the Apostle Paul's mind when he writes in Romans chapter 11, verse 25. Paul says, "For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness in part has happened to Israel, until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written." Let me just pause here and say that God never gave up his love for his people Israel. He never lost his love. Even though Israel, too many times to mention, had turned their back on God. But even in the story of Gomer and Hosea, God is saying, listen, I love you. And Paul pins this down here that even Israel will be saved. And the Gentiles are going to be a part of that. And he goes on to say, "And there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and he shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. For this is my covenant," my promise, "unto them, when I shall take away their sins." You see, God made promise to you and me, everybody in this whole wide world, that He would love us unconditionally. And that we could come to Him even though we were sinners, even though we were ugly. God would still embrace us and accept us. He would clean us off. He would put His robes of righteousness upon us, and He would accept us as His bride. Now, church, listen, that's love. And that is a promise that God gave to each and every one of you. We stand here today, this morning, receiving that promise that God loved us that much, that He accepted us just the way that we are. Hosea knew what his wife had done. But he said to her, I will accept thee. I will even give all that I have to get you back. Now, I also want to say to you, even though the story doesn't say this either, but I'm almost certain that if Gomer had not changed, if she continued her adulterous ways, if she continued living in sin, I'm almost certain that it would have been in the story that Hosea would have put her away. He would have just gotten rid of her. He may have even had her stoned. I don't know. Folks, let me say something to you. God is long in His passion and love. He is long in His acceptance and His forgiveness. But I also believe there comes a point. As the Word says, the Spirit of God will not always dwell with man. You see, there's a lot of people playing church. A lot of people are playing a relationship with God. But they're just like Gomer. They're selling themselves out to the world. In church, there may come a time you need to be careful. Well, the groom is coming for a bride that is spotless and without wrinkle. Doesn't mean we're perfect. Just means that when God loves us and He clothes us in His presence, we are. He puts that gown upon us. And when the Father looks, all He sees is the blood of Jesus. And has cleansed us from all sins. Church, we are God's beloved bride. He loves us so very much. And I invite you this morning, if you're here today